Hi, and welcome. Today we're going to take a look at Act 5, Scene 2, the final act in Shakespeare's Hamlet. So let's get started. The summary of Act 5, Scene 2 goes something a little like this. Hamlet tells Horatio what actually took place on board the ship and what's actually in store for Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Osric, an affected courtier, has come to tell Hamlet that Claudius has proposed a duel between both he and Laertes. Hamlet satirizes Osric's artificial manner but agrees to the proposal. In private, Hamlet confesses to Horatio that he has a sense of deep foreboding. Despite Horatio's advice, however, he decides to go ahead with the duel. Before the duel, though, Hamlet apologizes to Laertes. During the sword play, the king drops the poison into the cup intended for Hamlet, but instead, Gertrude drinks the poisoned wine as Claudius looks on. Laertes then wounds Hamlet with the poisoned sword. Then, in a scuffle between the two, the swords are mixed up and Hamlet poisons Laertes with the same sword. The queen then dies and Laertes dies after telling Hamlet about all the treachery. Hamlet finally then kills Claudius as the play ends, and Hamlet urges Horatio to live on and tell his story to the world. Fortinbras then approaches with his army, and just before Hamlet dies, Hamlet chooses Fortinbras as the new king of Denmark. Following Fortinbras's instructions, Hamlet's then carried off stage just like a soldier would be. Peace is then restored to Denmark. So let's take a look at this last and final scene in Hamlet. When we examine it carefully, we notice how Shakespeare continues to develop and enhance events in the play, even events that have come to pass. In his exchange with Horatio, we are told of how Hamlet came upon the letter that Claudius sent along with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, and along with that, Hamlet's lack of love and respect for them. He explains how he's able to rewrite the letter so that both Rosencrantz and Guildenstern meet their end at the feet of the English king. He also comes to explain how he was able to fight the pirates and curry favor with them so that he could then return to Denmark. This entire exchange with Horatio punctuates Hamlet's mental and physical agility, along with his ability to act swiftly when he's pressured to, something that we're not really sure if he's ever really able to do thus far. When we are finally brought to the part of the scene where Hamlet and Laertes duel, we have Hamlet confessing to his guilt and begs the pardon for the killing of his father, Polonius. Although Laertes says he accepts his apology, he continues with his and the king's plan. It's important to point out that during this exchange, we have some of Shakespeare's wit shine through when Hamlet calls Laertes his foil. Hamlet has no idea how accurate that actually is, since a foil character is one in which, when you contrast it with another, allows the characteristics of that character to shine through and really be highlighted. In this instance, Hamlet is unable to act on his revenge, yet Laertes is willing to risk it all to avenge his father's death. Hence, Laertes is Hamlet's foil. As they fence, Laertes is unable to get an upper hand on Hamlet, and the queen inadvertently drinks from the poisoned cup actually intended for Hamlet to drink. Out of frustration for his inability to score on Hamlet, Laertes scratches him with the sword in between bouts. This results in a tussle where the swords end up getting mixed up, and Hamlet is able to scratch him back with the poisoned tip unknowingly. In the meantime, Gertrude falls over, consumed by the poison, and dies. Laertes then confesses the plot set out by the king and how they're all going to die. The enraged Hamlet then takes the poisoned sword and stabs the king and kills him. It's interesting that it has come to this, a mad rush of emotion and furied action that has finally pushed Hamlet into action to do a deed which perhaps should have been done long ago. His inaction has not only delayed his revenge, but taken with it many innocent people. As the scene ends, we have a return to normality in a way, when Fortinbras and his army march in just as Hamlet dies. He also declares that Fortinbras should be the next king of Denmark. It's as though Hamlet, for all the destruction and death he has caused inadvertently, in his final breath, he tries to be the agent of change one last time, but this time for the better.